This is Teresa with My Crochet Obsession. Today I want to show you how I crochet the centifolia rose, also known as the English or cabbage rose. In today's tutorial, I am crocheting the rose at the top of the screen. It is in DK weight and a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. It measures about 2.5 inches when it's complete. The lavender rose at the bottom of the screen is worsted 4-weight yarn and a 5 millimeter crochet hook, and it measures about 3.5 inches. Of course, the rose can be made in any type of yarn, any color, and with the appropriate crochet hook, and the sizes will vary. Let's begin with a slip knot on the hook. If you've been following along with me and making the flowers with me in the 30 Days of Flowers, you will have already made the Grandiflora and the spiral rose. This Grandiflora English rose begins in the same manner with a chain. The difference between it and the Grandiflora is that after we make the chain for this particular flower, we do not need to come back with a row of single crochet. We will be making our petals directly into our beginning chain. I'm going to be using some stitch markers today. If you don't have these little plastic guys, any kind of stitch marker, you can even use small pieces of yarn. I know we all have these little tags of yarn. You can use that. I've also known people to use safety pins, bobby pins. There's probably any number of things that you can use as a stitch marker. Now, the stitch markers are only to help you keep up with your count. If you don't have 9, I'm going to be putting a stitch marker in every 11 stitches. Put a stitch marker in every 22 if you only have 3 or 6 or something. Anyway, nonetheless, begin with a chain up of 99. Once you have your slip knot on your hook, yarn over and pull a loop through that slip knot. And repeat that again. Yarn over and pull through a loop. Yarn over, pull through a loop. That's 4. Just a little heads up. Watch the tutorial all the way to the end for a special announcement that I think you're going to want to take advantage of. I'll put a stitch marker right underneath my hook and go for my next 11. And I'll meet up with you once I get my 99 chain stitches in. That didn't take too long. All right. Now then, we're going to begin to stitch our petals and into this chain. I'm going to take all my stitch markers out now because they bother me. If you don't want to do it yet, then you do what works for you, but I don't like working with them in my chain. So I'm taking them out. All right. Now we're going to work the chains, the petals from the largest chain to the smallest chain. Okay? So we are going to yarn over 3 times for our tallest stitches. 1, 2, 3. And then in the 5th chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5th chain from the hook, insert the hook. Now I'm going into my back bumps. You don't have to do that, but I like to do that because then the chain doesn't get twisted. Pull through a loop through that chain, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And that stitch is called a double treble. Double treble. I had to count. Yarn over 3 times. Insert the hook. Again, into the chain. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Pull through 2 loops. Pull through 2 more loops. Pull through 2 more loops. And the last one. Continue to double treble in the next 6 chains. Be sure and watch the tutorial all the way to the end for the special announcement that I think you'll want to take advantage of. And now chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and slip stitch into the next chain. And your first petal is complete. Now you repeat the same process, and you want to repeat it 3 more times. Repeat the pattern repeat on the screen a total of 3 times for a grand total of 4 petals. I will join back up with you when my petals are complete. My petals are complete. Let's continue. Now for the next 4 petals, each time that we have a petal stitch sequence, we will be making 4 of those. So you first chain up 3. 1, 2, and 3. And for a treble, we yarn over twice. By the way, I want to talk to you about yarn over for a second. Originally, because men were the first crocheters, we believe, and they were making fishing nets out of rope, yarn over was always with the left hand because they couldn't move the hook like this. It was too heavy. So if you find that as you're doing something this long and this many stitches where you have to yarn over, if you find your wrist getting tired, then yarn over with your non-dominant hand. All right, enough about that. But I will say that the ergonomics of crochet is very important if you want to be a crocheter who crochets 62 years or more, as I have. Then you have to use the correct posture and hand placement, or you have too much pain. Also, your shoulders and neck hurt, and if you're finding that, there are steps that you can take to avoid that, but that is another video. 3, sometimes I do 4. So we did 4 that time, but see the big gap there? I'm going to take one of those out. I don't like that. I want my petals to be a little bit tighter, I guess. Another thing about these petals, they're supposed to lean forward and cup in. So this chain being shorter will actually help that. So chain 3 again. And continue the pattern repeat for a total of 4 petals. I will join you when I have my petals in. 8 total petals are complete. Here's our large ones, and then here are the first middle ones. There's another set of middle ones right here and next, and they're the same stitches. You're going to chain 3, but then you're only going to put 4 treble crochet. Chain 3, yarn over twice, insert the hook into the chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. Repeat that 3 more times. And then chain 3 and slip stitch into the chain. Now repeat that 3 more times. We're almost all the way done with our flower. Well, our petals anyway. 99 seemed like a lot of chains, but we eat them up pretty fast when we start putting these stitches back into them. All right, and repeat that 3 more times. And now we're down to our last few chains. I think there's 10 or 11 left. And these are easy peasy. A chain 2 and 2 double crochet into the next 2 chains. And then a chain of 3 and slip stitch. Chain 2, 2 double crochet. And chain 3. Slip stitch, chain 2 and 2 double crochet in the next 2 chains. And you're maybe seeing that, oh, I'm not going to have enough stitches for my last petal. Yes, you will, because it's different. Chain 3 and slip stitch into the next to the last stitch. Chain 2, double crochet back into that same stitch. This one's supposed to be kind of scrunched up because he's right in the middle of the flower. And then double crochet into the last chain space. And he's probably pretty tight by now, but I can get in. Yep, it works. And then chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch into that last chain. Okay, so that last petal is really small, but he's going to curl around anyway, and that just helps him to do it better. All right, and if you made the Grandiflora, you know that we left ourselves a really long length of yarn at the beginning on this one because of our small petals are where we end up. We need to pull out a long length of yarn. I'm going to pull out, I already know that this measure on my work surface is 15 inches, so I'm going to leave 2 of those. If I can get my yarn to cooperate. All right. Okay. So now I'm going to cut the yarn over by the chain. And so that's my long piece of yarn. Now, with your yarn needle threaded, we're going to coil this flower up just like we did on the Grandiflora and on the spiral, the open spiral. We're going to coil it though and give it a flat base. So we're going to begin, and the flowers that we want them to cup in. So in contrast to the open flower, we wanted the back of our stitches to face us. But for this flower, we want the front of the stitches facing, okay? And the first stitch, we're going to coil our first petal up. Okay, so turn your flower upside down. Oh, I have this twisted. Get this off. What a mess. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm starting out on the other side of my flower, so I'm going to push the needle through just like that. Okay. And then continue to coil around and zigzag the stitch through. Do not whip stitch, it creates too much bulk. Okay, so we're going back through to the other side now. Coil again. Come over the stitch and push all the way through again. Coil around again. And this is all there is to putting the base together. But the important thing is to constantly be adjusting the base where the base of the flower, when it's finished, is flat. So constantly be checking for that as you stitch back and forth.
all the way through with my yarn needle, all the way through the flowers best I can. And I'm going to do that same thing with this, the beginning yarn length from the chain. I'm going to go back through my flower several times so that it will lay flat. They have a tendency, the way I did the outside edges, they have a tendency to want to have a cone, and at the middle to come out the top. So let's see if we can kind of mitigate that situation. And just go back and forth with him as many times as we can till he disappears. That's going to be it, I think. Now let's look at our beautiful cabbage rose. And you know, that is a great looking cabbage rose. That's the way they grow. Just tight, tight, tight. The one thing that I would do using this, I would probably get some blush in my cosmetics, and I would tap a little blush on that center and make it darker, because most of the time cabbage roses, that's the way they're going to turn out. They have a little bit deeper color in the middle.
And there you have it. This is how I crochet the centrifolia rose, also known as the English rose or the cabbage rose. And here is the lavender rose that I crocheted in worsted 4-weight yarn with a 5mm crochet hook in exactly the same stitch pattern, and it's larger, approximately 3.5 inches. One of the next tutorials that I'll be putting up is adding leaves to all of our flowers, and also different ways to use all of the different flowers in many different types of projects. Like this gift bag lasso. I'll have a tutorial for this in the coming days, and I hope you'll enjoy all of these. I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. Your likes really help the channel grow. Until I see you again, keep calm and crochet on.